From paycheck to prosperity, revolutionizing your financial future. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast, where we uncover the secrets of financial success and generational wealth building. I'm your host, and today we're in for a treat that's going to shake up everything you thought you knew about money. We have the incredible privilege of sharing insights from our recent interview with Kiesett Collier-Newton, a true visionary in the world of finance and a beacon of hope for countless families seeking to break free from the cycle of financial struggle. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a bit about Kiesett. This man isn't just another financial guru spouting recycled advice. No, Kiesett is a game changer, a paradigm shifter, a financial alchemist who's transforming the lead of conventional wisdom into the gold of generational wealth. His work has touched thousands of lives, empowering families to rewrite their financial stories and create legacies that will echo through generations. Kiesett isn't just teaching people about money. He's on a mission to revolutionize our entire relationship with wealth. And in doing so, he's changing the world one family at a time. So buckle up, folks. What you're about to hear isn't just another financial pep talk. It's a wake-up call, a challenge, and a roadmap all rolled into one. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at your wallet the same way again. Let's start with a question that might make you squirm a little. Why is it that some families seem to have a magical money tree in their backyard, effortlessly building wealth across generations, while others are stuck in a financial hamster wheel, running faster and faster but never getting ahead? If you're thinking it's all about how much money you make, well, I hate to break it to you, but you're barking up the wrong money tree. The truth is, it's not about how fat your paycheck is. It's about what's going on between your ears. That's right, we're talking about your money mindset. And let me tell you, Kiesett Collier-Newton is about to flip that mindset on its head. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, great, another talk about positive thinking. Just believe you're rich and the money will magically appear, right? Wrong, dead wrong. What Kiesett is proposing is far more radical, and frankly, it's going to make some of you uncomfortable. But hey, if you want comfort, go buy a pillow. If you want to change your financial future, stick with me. Let's break down the 3 pillars of Kiesett's financial philosophy, and fair warning, they're going to challenge everything you think you know about money. Pillar number 1, mindset is everything. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. We're not talking about some fluffy, feel-good mantras here. We're talking about rewiring your brain, about fundamentally changing how you perceive and interact with money. Kiesett shared a story that really drove this home. He grew up in a household where money was tighter than a new pair of shoes. The prevailing attitude, rich people were just lucky or worse, somehow crooked. Sound familiar? But one day, Kiesett had what he calls his money epiphany. He realized that wealthy people weren't operating with some secret playbook. They just thought differently about money. He started observing successful people, really paying attention to how they talked about money. And you know what he noticed? They saw opportunities where others saw obstacles. They invested in themselves without hesitation. They weren't afraid to take calculated risks. In short, they had an abundance mindset in a world dominated by scarcity to thinking. Now, let's be real for a second. Changing your mindset isn't as easy as flipping a switch. It's more like rewiring your entire house while you're still living in it. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and sometimes you're going to be fumbling around in the dark. But the payoff? Oh, the payoff is worth every moment of discomfort. Kiesett suggests a simple but powerful exercise to start this rewiring process. For 1 week, catch yourself every time you have a negative thought about money. You know the ones I'm talking about. I can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are just lucky. Every time one of these thoughts pops up, I want you to pause and flip the script. Instead of, I can't afford that, try, how can I create the resources to make that happen? Instead of, money doesn't grow on trees, how about money is a renewable resource and I'm cultivating my money tree? Now, I can almost hear some of you scoffing. Oh, please, changing a few thoughts isn't going to put more money in my bank account. And you're right, it won't, at least not directly. But here's the thing. Your mindset is the foundation upon which your entire financial future is built. A scarcity mindset is like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand. An abundance mindset, that's solid bedrock, baby. But don't just take my word for it. Let's look at a real-life example Kiesett shared. He told us about Sarah, a single mom working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Sarah came to one of Kiesett's workshops, skeptical but desperate for change. The first thing Kiesett had her do, start a possibility journal. Every day, Sarah had to write down one new possibility for making or saving money, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. At first, Sarah struggled. Her entries were things like find a quarter on the sidewalk or use one less paper towel. But as the weeks went by, something started to shift. Her entries became bolder. Start a weekend dog walking service. Learn to do basic car maintenance to save on mechanic bills. Take an online course to qualify for a promotion at work. And you know what? Sarah started acting on these possibilities. Within 6 months, she had started a small but growing pet care business, learned to change her own oil, and was on track for a promotion at her day job. Her income hadn't skyrocketed overnight, but her relationship with money had fundamentally changed. She was no longer a victim of her circumstances, but an active creator of her financial future. This, my friends, is the power of the abundance mindset. It's not about magically manifesting money out of thin air. It's about opening your eyes to the opportunities that have been there all along, hidden behind the veil of scarcity thinking. Now, let's move on to pillar number 2, assets over income. This is where Kiesett's approach really starts to diverge from conventional financial wisdom. And let me tell you, it's a game changer. Most financial advice focuses on budgeting, saving, and maybe, if you're lucky, investing a little in your 401k. Kiesett, he flips this on its head. He argues that true financial security doesn't come from squirreling away a portion of your paycheck each month. It comes from owning assets that generate passive income. Now, I know what you're thinking. Passive income, that's for rich people with trust funds, right? Wrong again. Kiesett shared a story that blew this misconception out of the water. He told us about his first real estate investment. Picture this. A small, run-down duplex in a not-so-great part of town. Most people would have walked right past it. But Kiesett, he saw potential. He scraped together every penny he had, took out a loan, and bought that duplex. Now, was it glamorous? Hell no. Kiesett spent his weekends patching walls, unclogging toilets, and dealing with tenants who thought rent was an optional expense. But you know what? That beat-up old duplex taught him a priceless lesson. The path to financial freedom isn't about working harder at your job. It's about strategically acquiring assets that work for you. Within a year, that duplex was generating enough rental income to cover its own mortgage, and then some. Kiesett had created a stream of passive income that flowed whether he was working, sleeping, or sipping margaritas on a beach somewhere. But here's where it gets really interesting. Kiesett isn't just talking about making more money. He's talking about creating streams of passive income that can sustain you and your family for generations. This leads us to the third pillar, generational thinking. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your financial goals. Are you thinking about next month's rent, this year's vacation? Maybe retirement, if you're feeling really ambitious. Kiesett challenges us to think bigger, much bigger. He argues that true financial security isn't just about securing your own future. It's about creating a legacy that will benefit your children, your grandchildren, and beyond. It's about thinking in terms of decades and centuries, not just months and years. Kiesett shared a powerful story about his grandfather that really drives this point home. His granddad was a simple man, not wealthy by any means, but he had the foresight to buy a small piece of land decades ago. At the time, it seemed like an insignificant purchase, barely worth mentioning. Fast forward to today, and that insignificant piece of land has become a valuable asset that benefits the entire family. It's not just about the monetary value, although that's certainly significant. It's about the legacy his grandfather created, the foundation he laid for future generations. This story illustrates a crucial point. Generational wealth isn't just about leaving an inheritance. It's about creating systems and teaching principles that can be passed down. It's about cultivating a family culture of financial literacy and abundance thinking. Kiesett encourages families to involve children in financial discussions and decision-making from an early age. He suggests setting up family investment clubs where everyone contributes ideas and learns together. He advocates for creating family mission statements that outline collective financial goals and values. The key here is to shift from a short-term, individualistic approach to money to a long-term collective one. It's about seeing your financial decisions, not just in terms of how they affect you, but how they'll impact your great grandchildren. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm struggling just to make ends meet. How can I possibly think about generational wealth? And you know what? That's a valid concern. Kiesett doesn't shy away from this reality. In fact, he addresses it head on. He shared a story about Maria, a single mother he mentored. Maria was working 2 jobs, barely keeping her head above water. The idea of building wealth seemed about as realistic as growing wings and flying to the moon. But Kiesett challenged Maria to start small, really small. He had her start by setting aside just $5 a week. Now, $5 might not sound like much, but it was a start. It was a declaration of intent, a statement that said, I am in control of my financial future. Next, Kiesett had Maria spend 1 hour a week learning about financial strategies, just 1 hour. She'd watch YouTube videos, read articles, listen to podcasts, anything to expand her financial knowledge. Finally, Kiesett encouraged Maria to have regular family meetings with her kids to discuss their collective financial goals. At first, these meetings were pretty basic. They talked about saving for a family movie night or finding ways to cut down on the electric bill. But over time, these discussions evolved. They started talking about long-term savings goals, about the kids' college funds, about the possibility of buying a home. Now, did Maria become a millionaire overnight? Of course not. But something profound started to happen. Maria and her kids began to see money differently. They stopped feeling like victims of their financial circumstances and started feeling like active participants in their financial future. Within a year, Maria had started a small side business selling homemade jewelry online. It wasn't making her rich, but it was an additional stream of income, something she owned. More importantly, it was teaching her kids valuable lessons about entrepreneurship and financial management. Today, 3 years later, Maria's financial situation has dramatically improved. She's got multiple streams of income, has started investing in low-cost index funds, and is on track to buy her first home. But the most significant change, the financial legacy she's creating for her children. She's not just changing her own financial story, she's changing her family's financial story for generations to come. This brings us to a crucial point, the importance of delayed gratification in building wealth. Kiesett argues that one of the key differences between those who build lasting wealth and those who don't is the ability to prioritize long-term gains over short-term pleasures. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, another lecture about skipping my daily latte. But hold on, because Kiesett's take on this is refreshingly nuanced. He doesn't advocate for a life of constant sacrifice and no enjoyment. Instead, he promotes what he calls strategic splurging. The idea is simple. Allow yourself occasional indulgences, but do so in a way that aligns with your overall financial strategy. Instead of buying a luxury car that depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot, why not invest in a vacation property that you can enjoy with your family while it appreciates in value? Instead of blowing money on the latest gadgets, why not invest in personal development courses that will increase your earning potential? Kiesett shared a personal story that really brings this concept to life. He told us about a time when he was tempted to cash out some investments for a luxury purchase. It was a beautiful watch, a status symbol he'd been eyeing for years. But as he stood there in the store, credit card in hand, he had a moment of clarity. He asked himself, will this watch appreciate in value? Will it generate income? Will it benefit my family for generations to come? The answer, of course, was no. So instead of buying the watch, Kiesett took that money and invested it in a small rental property. Was it as immediately gratifying as wearing a flashy new watch? No. But today, years later, that property has appreciated significantly and provides a steady stream of rental income. It's an asset that will continue to benefit his family long after he's gone. This story illustrates a fundamental truth. Building generational wealth often requires sacrificing immediate pleasures for long-term gains. But here's the kicker. When you have an abundance mindset, when you're focused on creating passive income streams and thinking generationally, those sacrifices don't feel like deprivation. They feel like investments in your family's future. Now, let's talk about implementation. How can you start applying these principles in your own life? Kiesett offers a simple 3-step process. Step 1, educate yourself. Start reading books on financial literacy and wealth building. Listen to podcasts, attend seminars, seek out mentors. The more you learn, the more opportunities you'll be able to recognize. And remember, this isn't just for you. Involve your whole family in this learning process. Step 2, start small, but start now. Don't wait until you have a large sum of money to begin investing. Start with whatever you have, even if it's just a few dollars a week. The habit is more important than the amount at this stage. Remember Maria and her $5 a week? That's where it starts. Step 3, build a support system. Surround yourself with people who share your financial goals and mindset. This might mean joining investment clubs, attending networking events, or simply having regular discussions with like-minded friends and family members. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Make sure those people are elevating your financial game, not holding you back. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought from Kiesett. He said, building generational wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a legacy of financial wisdom, entrepreneurial spirit, and abundance mindset that can transform not just your family, but your entire community. So here's my challenge to you. How will you start building your financial legacy today? What small step can you take right now to shift your mindset, acquire assets, or think generationally about your finances? Will you start a possibility journal like Sarah? Will you look for your version of Kiesett's rundown duplex? Will you have a family meeting to discuss your collective financial goals? Or will you simply commit to spending 1 hour this week expanding your financial knowledge? Whatever it is, I want you to commit to it right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Because here's the truth. Every moment you spend in a scarcity mindset, every day you focus on income over assets, every year you think short term instead of generationally, is a missed opportunity to change your financial future. You have the power to break the cycle of financial struggle. You have the power to create a legacy of wealth and financial wisdom that will echo through generations. You have the power to transform not just your own life, but the lives of your children, your grandchildren, and beyond. The journey to generational wealth starts with a single step. Take that step today. Your future generations are counting on you. Thank you for tuning into the Black CEO Podcast. Remember, your financial revolution starts now. Go out there and make it happen.